A quiet force shapes the world. You rarely notice it. It does not speak loudly. It does not seek attention. It does not announce its progress. Yet its results are undeniable. This force is the disciplined individual who works in silence. The Stoics understood the strength of silent excellence. They trained their minds to avoid the trap of applause. They saw that public recognition is often a distraction from private mastery. The man who acts from principle does not need validation. He becomes powerful because he does the work without needing to be seen. To live this way requires internal order. It requires the ability to remain steady while others chase approval. It requires clarity about what matters and a strict refusal to waste energy on what does not. It requires the ability to endure silence and keep building. This video explores the principles that make such a life possible. We will study how the Stoics developed quiet strength, how they trained their thoughts, and how they structured their habits to become forces of nature. There is no need to announce who you are becoming. Let your conduct reveal it. Let your silence speak with power. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Discipline of Silence. Silence is not weakness. It is control. It is the ability to withhold what seeks expression until it has purpose. The Stoics practiced this with intent. They did not speak to fill space. They spoke to add meaning. Epictetus reminded his students to speak only when necessary. Idle talk distracts from inner work. It scatters attention. It encourages the habit of speaking without reflection. To remain silent is a form of restraint. It develops awareness. It separates thought from impulse. It prevents the mind from wasting energy on reaction. To remain silent is to train the ability to observe without interference. It prevents the constant urge to perform. It avoids becoming a source of noise for others. Many people speak to gain attention. They want to be seen. They want to fill silence with their opinions. This weakens focus. It turns conversation into a performance. The Stoic avoids this trap. He practices holding his tongue. He allows space to exist without filling it. He knows that silence is not absence. It is presence without noise. It is the choice to preserve energy. It is the discipline to wait until speech is necessary and precise. In daily life, this means choosing words with care. It means resisting the urge to comment when nothing useful can be added. You do not need to interrupt. You do not need to correct every mistake you hear. You watch, you study, you listen with full attention. Your mind remains active, but your mouth remains closed until the moment serves reason. You become alert without being reactive. You create distance between emotion and expression. This training removes many errors. It protects your time and your mental clarity. When others speak constantly, they dilute their presence. When you choose silence, your words gain weight. You begin to speak with effect. You begin to think before speaking. This restraint does not go unnoticed. People feel your presence without constant reminders. They become aware of your silence. They pay attention when you choose to speak. They recognize that your words are not scattered or careless. Your quiet behavior signals depth. Your restraint makes others pause. This kind of strength is rare. Many rely on words to maintain identity. They fear being misunderstood, so they speak excessively. The Stoic does not fear silence. He builds comfort in it. He does not explain himself in every moment. He relies on action. He lets his consistency speak over time. Building this habit requires deliberate effort. It starts in small situations. Delay your response in casual conversations. Allow others to complete their thoughts. Practice listening without preparing a reply. Speak less frequently. Use fewer words. Allow silence to fill space. Let tension pass without reacting. In this process, you begin to see patterns. You learn how people respond to pauses. You see what they expect from you. You discover what happens when you no longer meet those expectations. You gain insight. You become a better observer. You understand more than those who rush to speak. A person who can remain silent in noise carries presence. That presence is steady. It does not change based on attention. It does not need approval. It does not collapse when ignored. This stability creates trust. It also commands respect. It creates a sense of quiet strength. It signals that you are not dependent on external cues. When others attempt to provoke you, your silence holds its ground. You do not respond with anger or justification. You do not try to win the exchange. You remain steady. When others try to praise you, your silence keeps its distance. You do not reach for recognition. You do not become attached to compliments. You do not adjust your behavior to match approval or rejection. This posture makes you difficult to manipulate. It removes the leverage others might use to control your emotional state or your decisions. You become anchored in internal discipline. You are not led by praise. You are not controlled by insult. You do not need others to validate your direction. You already know the reasons behind your choices. Your strength becomes harder to access from the outside. Others find no entry point to influence you through shallow means. Your focus remains intact. The Stoics used silence with purpose. It was part of their system for training the mind and body. They did not use silence as avoidance. They used it to create structure. They believed restraint built power. They believed measured speech preserved energy for what mattered. They understood that words, once used, cannot be taken back. A silent man considers this before he speaks. They viewed language as a tool. Like any tool, it should be used with skill and control. Training the tongue meant refusing to speak from impulse. It meant learning how to delay expression until it served a clear aim. This training helped them separate reaction from response. It gave their thoughts time to settle before shaping them into action. That gap between stimulus and reply became a zone of clarity. Thought is shaped by how often it is tested in stillness. When you speak less, you examine more. You hear the unfiltered form of your mind. You find out which thoughts are noise and which ones are worth turning into action. This gives you a sharper understanding of yourself and others. You develop clearer insight into motive, intention, and patterns of behavior. This silence becomes a daily practice. It is not limited to moments of stress or confrontation. It is carried into every situation where noise would waste energy. You begin to spot moments where speaking would weaken your focus. You begin to notice how often others speak to relieve pressure rather than serve truth. You notice how silence changes the atmosphere in a conversation. It makes others slow down. It creates space. It exposes what is real. You can build this strength through deliberate action. Start by reserving your voice for moments where it adds direction. Speak when the outcome depends on clarity. Hold back when the situation is unclear or driven by emotion. Avoid sharing plans before execution. This keeps your focus internal. It prevents you from seeking response before you have completed the task. Avoid announcing intentions to gain attention. Let your outcomes show your discipline. Let your silence guard your direction. Use silence to slow thought, increase observation, and reduce unnecessary movement. This helps refine your strategy. It builds maturity. Reflection should come before speech. Take time to sit with your thoughts. Let them settle without being spoken. Ask yourself if your words build something or only serve your mood. Ask if your language carries weight or just fills space. Language that emerges from reflection becomes durable. It carries structure. It leads others. Let silence become your daily base. Let it shape your tone, your posture, and your way of thinking. Speak only when your words serve your role. Speak when they sharpen the moment. Speak when silence would no longer protect the frame of what you are building. Until then, let silence hold. Let it work. Let it sharpen the edge of your thought. Chapter 2. Let action speak. The Stoics did not talk about their values, they lived them. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily to act justly, speak truthfully, and endure hardship. He did not need to proclaim these values. He embedded them in his choices. To be the best in silence is to let your life become your statement. This requires daily action. It requires a deliberate commitment to act from reason. You build this identity through repetition. You train your discipline by showing up without needing a witness. You make every task an opportunity to express your standard. This is not passive living. It is structured effort. It is the habit of doing what is required without waiting for attention. You do not perform for recognition. You move according to what is right. You align your actions with principle, regardless of who is watching. This removes distraction. It clears the path for growth. The current environment rewards noise. Platforms reward reaction. Personal lives become staged for validation. People announce every goal. They document every effort. They wait for likes before continuing. This cycle fragments focus. It turns effort into a show. It replaces substance with performance. The Stoic path does not follow this pattern. It is built on quiet execution. You complete what is needed without commentary. You keep your routines close. You let discipline carry the weight. You track your own results. You correct your direction in private. You improve your habits through consistency, not attention. You do the work. You sharpen your methods. You maintain your schedule. You monitor the details others overlook. You build your structure. Each improvement adds to your foundation. Each correction strengthens your alignment. Your energy is directed inward, not scattered in public. Each day becomes a measure, not for applause, but for accuracy. You examine what was done. You ask the right questions. Did I meet my standard? Did I resist distraction? Did I execute the plan? This removes excuses. It removes confusion. It creates a framework for progress. You are not seeking to impress. You are seeking to grow. You move from task to task with clarity. You rest with discipline. You start with intention. You complete your day with reflection. These habits replace the need for external encouragement. You gain strength by knowing what you've done, even if no one else knows. Confidence grows from what you prove to yourself. You know your capacity because you tested it. You do not need to talk about your goals. You have results. You do not ask for permission. You have structure. You do not speak about your potential. You live it. Let others perform. Let others wait for validation. You focus on your work. You keep your energy directed at what needs to be done. You stay consistent regardless of who is watching. You do not shift direction based on praise or attention. You maintain your rhythm. You execute your responsibilities with clarity. You resist the need to broadcast progress. You let your discipline remain private. This level of control creates influence without display. People notice what does not ask to be noticed. Respect forms around steady behavior. Trust grows in those who observe your consistency. Announce nothing. Begin your task in silence. Protect your focus. Do not share your intentions before you take action. Let the work begin without public record. Stay within your routine. Strengthen your habits. Follow your process. Improve each step quietly. Do not use your effort as content. Keep your attention on execution. Let the process carry forward without interruption. Track your own progress. Review your performance without needing reaction. Adjust based on principle, not attention. Complete the task fully before discussing it. Avoid explaining plans before results. Avoid seeking approval before completion. Let the outcome speak. Let the result stand on its own terms. Keep the details to yourself. Use that privacy to remove distraction. Your vision sharpens in solitude. You see what is working. You see what needs correction. You build a relationship with your own effort. You learn what consistency feels like when no one is watching. You measure your choices by their effect, not their visibility. Finish before speaking. Finish before reflecting. Finish before inviting opinion. Completion is clarity. You gain knowledge from closing the cycle. You learn from what is done, not what is imagined. Let your results carry the message. Let them show what your words could not express. Let them confirm your work without commentary. Let your output stand on its own. Let it be a direct extension of your effort. Let it reveal your method. Let it reflect your judgment. If it is done well, it will carry weight. If it needs work, that will also be clear. Either result teaches you. Either result gives you something to improve. Let your effort tell the truth. Do not defend your process. Do not decorate it. Let the facts speak. Let the performance show your preparation. Let the outcome reflect the quality of your choices. Let the result be evidence of your standard. Build in private. Do not display your process for feedback. Do not make discipline into a show. Keep your practices contained. Your progress will emerge without force. Your structure will become visible without announcement. You are training something stronger than attention. You are training internal leadership. Measure your days by their usefulness. Keep track of what moved you forward. Examine where you slipped. Count what you did, not what you planned. See what you finished, not what you imagined. Make each day a form of proof. Let the routine harden you. Let it cut away waste. Let it show you what matters. Routine builds internal pressure. It tests your limits. It trains your timing. It gives shape to your strength. It makes discipline a natural state, not a temporary effort. Let the outcome reveal your preparation. If the result is strong, it shows your system worked. If it is weak, it shows where it broke. In both cases, you gain direction. You refine your process. You become sharper. Your words are strongest when spoken through action. When your effort is visible in results, you no longer need to explain. Your message is in what you've done. Your voice is in what you've built. Your position is proven by your consistency. Let your life say everything that needs to be said. Let your record show your values. Let your pattern reflect your code. Do not ask to be understood. Do not wait to be noticed. Let your structure speak louder than your voice. Let your days form your statement. Let your silence carry weight. Let it speak for you. Chapter 3. Emotional discipline in private. Silence also applies to emotional life. The Stoics trained to contain reaction. Emotions were not denied. They were studied. They were managed. They were mastered. Seneca wrote of anger as temporary madness. He advised that it must be caught early. If noticed in its early stage, it can be managed. If left unchecked, it can lead to reckless behavior. The man who can detect the rising feeling before it takes shape is prepared. The one who can sit with the emotion without reacting to it builds a deeper kind of strength. He does not feed it. He does not follow it. He watches it with clarity. He becomes a student of his emotional life rather than a victim of it. In daily life, this discipline appears in small moments. When irritation appears, you do not voice it immediately. You do not release it through complaint or reaction. You allow it to exist without giving it control. You observe what caused it. You identify the thought behind the feeling. You ask what belief created the pressure. This pause prevents escalation. It reduces error. It gives you the chance to act with intelligence instead of impulse. You do not express every frustration. You do not speak every emotion. You hold them until you can assess them. You delay your expression until it can be shaped by principle. If the feeling has no use, you let it pass. If it has value, you use it with direction. You do not hide the emotion. You organize it. You remove the false urgency. You treat emotion as data, not as an order. This is not suppression. It is structure. It is the decision to speak only when speech improves the outcome. It is the habit of filtering thoughts through principle before turning them into action. You do not give power to emotions that contradict your code. You allow no movement unless it aligns with your reasoned standard. In silence, you confront these reactions without distraction. You reduce them to their core. You strip away the excuses and justifications. You face the thought without its story. You examine the raw impulse beneath it. You ask, does this serve my role? Does this make the situation better? Is this necessary? These questions create space between you and the urge to act. This practice gives you stability. You become less volatile. You reduce errors made in haste. You act with greater clarity. You begin to respond instead of react. This change becomes visible. People begin to trust your presence. They rely on your composure. They speak to you without fear of being attacked. They bring you their concerns because they recognize you do not create unnecessary drama. You become a steady influence in unstable environments. This type of control is built alone. It is developed in quiet moments when no one sees your restraint. You must train your attention. You must sit with discomfort and observe it. You must learn the patterns of your own thinking. You must examine what provokes you. You must hold back when you feel the pull to act. This is the hard part of discipline. It requires patience. It requires self-honesty. The Stoics believed this was the beginning of strength. They taught that a person who cannot rule his emotions cannot be trusted with decisions. Power begins with self-command. If you cannot hold your mind steady, you cannot lead. If you cannot remain composed when insulted, ignored, or challenged, you are still ruled by external forces. The Stoics trained to remove this dependency. This training is not loud. It is not dramatic. It happens internally. It happens repeatedly. The result is dependability. The result is quiet control. This control allows you to carry responsibility. It makes you the person others turn to during difficulty. It makes your presence an anchor in chaos. You become useful to others because you do not bring disorder with you. You do not add confusion. You reduce it. This is how strength is built. It is built through consistent effort to control your own mind and behavior. It is built through disciplined thinking, calm action, and measured response. The strongest individual is not the one who imposes his will on others, but the one who keeps his own reactions within the limits of principle. You do not need to show control. You need to have it. Mastery is silent. It is carried in your posture, your decisions, and your refusal to be rushed. When others lose composure, you hold yours. When others make excuses, you reflect. When others reach for reaction, you hold to your structure. Emotional discipline in private becomes visible in public through consistency. People begin to notice that you do not rise or fall with moods. You remain grounded. You maintain your position without the need to defend it loudly. Your behavior stays aligned under pressure. That pattern of calm becomes a source of trust. Silence allows this development. It creates space between stimulus and response. It removes the need to constantly explain or justify. It becomes a form of clarity. In silence, you are able to examine your thoughts with distance. You remove false urgency. You stop emotion from becoming command. You act only when action is required and useful. This training begins in moments of solitude. You notice your habits. You observe your thinking. You practice withholding the first impulse. You replace it with awareness. You ask the right questions before acting. You evaluate the situation before responding. You match your behavior to your values, not to your emotions. It helps you identify what is real and what is reaction. You begin to see the difference between what requires action and what only requires patience. You begin to understand the cost of speaking too quickly or acting without reflection. You stop adding to disorder. You start contributing clarity. It helps you become the person who can be trusted with pressure. When others are lost in emotion, you keep direction. When others hesitate, you remain firm. Your discipline makes you useful. Your silence makes you sharp. Your ability to act without noise becomes your strength. Chapter 4. Withdraw from the noise. You do not owe your attention to everything. The world offers noise. You choose what enters. The Stoics guarded their mental environment. They knew that the mind absorbs what it consumes. Distraction weakens judgment. It pulls your attention in too many directions. It scatters your focus and breaks the connection between your thoughts and your actions. You become reactive instead of deliberate. Your ability to see clearly is reduced. Gossip weakens integrity. It draws you into judgment without reflection. It places your attention on the behavior of others instead of your own. It creates false alliances and shallow trust. Speaking about others behind their back builds habits that weaken your character. You start looking for faults where you should be looking for responsibility. Constant comparison weakens clarity. It shifts your goals from principle to image. You stop measuring yourself by what matters and start measuring yourself by appearances. You adjust your direction to match someone else's timeline. You chase things you never needed. This removes peace. It creates tension where there should be focus. The Stoic withdraws from these forces. He does not entertain what fragments the mind. He studies what improves discipline. He rejects what weakens attention. This withdrawal is not about isolation. It is about clarity. It is about protecting space for what matters. It is about making thought stronger than impulse. Marcus Aurelius would retreat into stillness. He did this daily. He kept a journal. He used it to return to his principles. He used it to regain structure after exposure to the noise of the world. His retreat was internal. He brought his mind back to its center. He trained himself to observe without becoming entangled in drama, temptation, or distraction. In modern life, withdrawal means boundaries. It means saying no without needing a reason. It means protecting the time you use to think. It means limiting inputs. It means keeping your digital environment quiet. It means separating yourself from constant opinion, constant comparison, and constant updates. It means building walls around your focus so it is not constantly interrupted. You are not missing anything by stepping back. The stream of noise does not improve your thinking. It pulls you away from it. You are gaining space. You are gaining attention. You are regaining control over what enters your mind. You are creating conditions for discipline. You are training yourself to think clearly without being pulled in every direction. By stepping away, you allow your thoughts to settle. You create time to reflect. You make space for decisions to come from reason. You reduce reaction. You stop chasing stimulation. You learn to act from principle rather than from emotional pressure. This improves everything you touch. This withdrawal gives you power. While others rush to respond, you pause. While others are caught in cycles of reaction, you remain grounded. You develop the ability to wait, to observe, to act with full attention. You become less impulsive. You become harder to influence. You become more consistent. While others seek constant validation, you remain unseen. While others talk about progress, you make it. While others demand recognition, you remain in motion. This silent growth gives you an advantage. It builds strength quietly. It builds results that do not need explanation. The Stoic lives by internal rhythm. He does not follow every signal around him. He knows what matters. He does not let others define what is urgent. He does not treat every opinion as relevant. He protects his attention like a resource. He stays connected to his code. You do not need to explain your silence. You do not need to justify your absence from noise. You are building something stronger than visibility. You are developing precision in thought. You are refining your values. You are training yourself to act without needing applause. This is the rhythm of discipline. This is how mental strength is formed. You limit distractions to focus on what is useful. You withdraw from the unnecessary so you can engage with what requires you. You simplify so you can go deeper. You remove what clouds your thinking. You build stillness to improve your ability to move with purpose. Chapter 5. The Private Code. The Stoic lives by a code. This code is private. It is developed through reason and tested through action. It exists to create consistency. It helps the individual act with precision. It gives shape to thought and behavior. It is not shared to impress others. It is followed to stay grounded. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily of his role as emperor. He wrote to reinforce his duties. He used writing to clarify his responsibilities. His goal was alignment between values and action. His journal was not for public display. It was a tool to examine himself. It helped him stay accountable to his position, not just his status. To live well in silence, you need your own standard. You need a framework that does not shift based on attention. A personal code reduces confusion. It simplifies decisions. It guides you when emotion or fatigue clouds your judgment. You return to it for clarity. You use it as a reference point in daily choices. This code is practical. It does not depend on opinion. It is structured by questions that lead to reflection. Did I act with courage in difficulty? Did I reject unnecessary pleasure? Did I maintain honesty in what I said and did? Did I meet the demands of the day without avoidance? Each answer provides feedback. Each answer helps you make small adjustments to your character. Every moment becomes a checkpoint. Each decision becomes a record. You learn from what you did well. You correct what fell below your standard. This is internal leadership. You are not waiting for others to correct you. You take responsibility for evaluating your own conduct. This habit removes guesswork. It strengthens trust in your own decision-making. Your code is not something others need to understand. It exists to serve your internal order. Others will see the results. They will notice consistency. They will observe how you carry yourself. They will feel the structure behind your behavior. They will respond to the steadiness that emerges from discipline. You do not need to speak about it. It becomes visible through repetition. You do not adjust your code to fit in. You do not change it based on approval. You follow it because it reflects your values. You refine it through daily use. The Stoic does not rely on reminders from others. He returns to his code during quiet hours. He studies where he was strong. He examines where he drifted. He sharpens his intentions. He prepares his mind for the next day. The code becomes a stabilizing force. It creates mental order. It separates signal from noise. It reduces hesitation by making your priorities clear. When a situation is uncertain, your code answers for you. It removes the pressure of improvising values. You have already defined them. You apply them as needed. This removes excuses. You cannot claim confusion when you have already chosen your principles. You cannot blame reaction when you have trained for restraint. You cannot pretend to forget what you have already written down. The code holds you accountable. It becomes a mirror. You either live by it or you don't. This structure gives shape to ambition. It gives you a reason to be precise. It removes the vagueness that surrounds many goals. Your aim becomes defined. You know what type of person you are becoming. You can measure the gap between where you are and where you want to be. This is how a Stoic builds discipline, through visible repetition and silent correction. In silence, the code grows stronger. It does not need to be declared. It does not compete for attention. It works quietly in the background. It protects your direction. It limits the distractions that pull others off course. It provides the foundation for a life built on principle. You wake up and follow it. You face difficulty and return to it. You finish the day and examine yourself by it. Each part of your day runs through the same filter. The result is a person who acts with clarity, speaks with intention, and builds without noise. This is the Stoic path, a life governed by a code that remains unseen but deeply lived. Chapter 6. Resisting the pull to perform. The Stoic does not decorate his behavior for attention. He resists the urge to perform. He does what is right without trying to be seen. This is difficult in a world designed around visibility. Many actions are done with the hope that someone is watching. Many words are spoken for the sake of display. This creates habits that weaken the will. When you act for applause, your actions become unstable. You begin to shift based on audience. You wait for encouragement before continuing. You rely on recognition to stay motivated. This removes your power. It makes your focus dependent on response. The Stoic removes this dependency. He does the work because it is the work. He shows up because it is his duty. To resist performance, you must train yourself to value consistency more than attention. You must prepare for the fact that your best efforts may go unseen. You must accept that your discipline may not be praised. You continue anyway. This is how the internal standard grows stronger than the external response. This is how you build character. Performance weakens clarity. It distorts your motive. It replaces sincerity with strategy. When you focus on being perceived a certain way, you lose track of the deeper purpose behind your action. You begin to act from fear of being misjudged. You begin to adapt your decisions to match the image you want to protect. This divides your mind. The Stoic does not divide his mind. He remains whole. He acts from alignment. He does not fear being overlooked. He trains himself to serve his principle, not his image. His focus stays internal. His motive stays clear. He does what is right in silence and lets the results speak if they must. To build this, stop explaining your choices to be accepted. Stop performing your effort to be applauded. Keep your work quiet. Track your progress for yourself. Create goals that are connected to your values, not your reputation. Protect your attention from public reaction. Strengthen your reason for acting. If the action is correct, that is enough. This is how you protect depth. You stop leaking energy through performance. You keep your values intact. You build strength where others seek approval. You learn to walk forward without the need to be seen. Chapter 7. The Strength of Consistency. The Stoic builds his life on repetition. He uses routine to create structure. He does not depend on mood to act. He does not wait to feel inspired. He acts because action is required. This forms a reliable foundation. It creates stability even under pressure. Consistency does not require emotion. It requires design. Emotion may inspire action, but it does not maintain it. Design does. You choose what matters, then build systems that support it. You remove unnecessary choices. You reduce friction. You remove guesswork from your daily structure. You commit to repetition. You make the essential tasks non-negotiable. You act even when there is no excitement, even when no one is watching. This is where strength is built, in the quiet, steady, repeated execution of useful action. You decide your priorities in advance. You define what deserves your effort. You set clear steps and timelines. You use that structure to stay grounded. When motivation fades, the system remains. When the day feels heavy, your schedule still moves forward. This discipline allows you to remain steady when others collapse into indecision. It gives your effort a shape that does not shift. A man who trains his body daily does not speak about being disciplined. His body shows it. A man who writes his reflections each night does not need to explain his awareness. His decisions reflect it. A man who honors his word without needing reminders does not request trust. His pattern earns it. Each action leaves evidence. Each repeated behavior builds a history. That history becomes identity. It becomes your track record. Your pattern becomes more powerful than your intention. What you do regularly becomes more meaningful than what you say you want. Others begin to see it. They do not need to be told. They feel the structure behind your choices. They see you keep your word. They see you hold your pace. They understand what to expect from you. This creates dependability. This builds quiet authority. This type of consistency creates stability not just for yourself, but for those around you. People begin to lean on your rhythm. They trust your word. They know you are not ruled by mood. You do not break your routine to match trends or chase comfort. You provide reliability in a world that moves quickly. This becomes rare. This becomes valuable. To build this, begin by removing unnecessary choices. Choose your priorities once and let your schedule reflect them daily. Eliminate anything that distracts from your process. Protect your mornings. Create patterns in your movement, your work, and your reflection. Use a journal to track whether you did what mattered. Let your end-of-day review serve as correction, not performance. Use it to adjust. Use it to reset. Keep your principles visible. Write them. Review them. Measure your behavior against them. Let them govern how you structure your day. Use them as the filter for decisions. When unsure, refer back to your system. It will show you what to do next. This gives you freedom within form. Make your days a system of aligned actions. Begin with structure. Set boundaries for how you start, how you work, how you recover, and how you reflect. Let repetition be the source of your results. Let it build the mental endurance you need to do hard things quietly. Adjust your systems when they no longer serve the mission. Watch closely for waste. Strengthen what works. Improve what can be refined. Remove what drains focus. Make execution smooth, even when the task is demanding. This habit of internal maintenance turns your days into training. It keeps your attention sharp. It protects your direction. Let your consistency become your reputation. Let it become what defines your presence. People may not understand your entire system, but they will feel the effect of it. They will respect your follow-through. They will sense your reliability. They will rely on your pattern more than your words. You will earn quiet trust. You will lead without seeking attention. You will carry weight without asking for it. This is how the Stoic moves, through repetition, through design, through systems that hold, even when conditions change. Chapter 8. When silence is strength. There are moments when silence is the highest form of power. When emotions run high, silence prevents escalation. When insults are thrown, silence denies reward. When confusion surrounds you, silence creates space for clarity. It is not a retreat. It is control. You build this strength by practicing restraint in speech. You monitor your impulses. You observe the moment when you feel the need to speak and delay it. You allow the tension of silence to remain. You get comfortable with pause. You develop the habit of listening fully before forming a response. You wait until you understand the situation, the people involved, and your own internal state. This helps you avoid errors. It sharpens your delivery. It prevents careless words. You do not speak to release pressure. You do not speak to fill time. You speak to direct action, to provide structure, or to offer clarity. Every sentence has weight. You remove unnecessary words. You train yourself to say only what improves the moment. This gives your speech a focused quality. It removes waste. It makes your contribution easier to follow. You increase the impact of what you say by saying less with more purpose. You do not react to noise. You let others speak first. You watch how they use language. You notice what they reveal about their thinking. You let their patterns unfold while yours remain hidden. You stay calm. You do not let external energy control your expression. You do not let provocation change your posture. You protect your energy by choosing stillness. You let the silence protect your posture until speaking serves your role. If your role is to lead, you speak with direction. If your role is to support, you speak with clarity. If your role is to correct, you speak with control. If the situation does not require speech, you withhold it. This shows discipline. This shows self-governance. You refine this skill in ordinary situations. In daily conversations, pause before answering. In moments of disagreement, choose silence first. In meetings, speak only when your input changes the direction. When upset, hold your reaction until the emotion passes. These habits protect your authority. They help you avoid saying what you would later regret. The more you practice restraint, the more powerful your words become. Others begin to take your silence seriously. They lean in when you speak. They wait to hear your view. They understand that your words are considered. They see that you are not trying to win attention. You are contributing with discipline. You are building trust without demanding it. Silence becomes part of your presence. It makes space for thought. It creates distance between reaction and response. It allows you to be strategic instead of emotional. It strengthens your posture. It gives you time to calculate, observe, and act with precision. This is how the Stoic commands through stillness. This is how silence becomes strength. Chapter 9. Invisible Standards. The Stoic builds silently. He creates results without announcement. His strength is not proven by slogans or noise. It is visible in his rhythm, in his posture, in his restraint. What he expects from himself is shaped privately. The world may not understand the standard, but it will see the outcome. Invisible standards shape conduct. They determine how a person responds when no one is watching. They define how a person works when there is no praise. They guide choices in quiet rooms where reputation has no audience. This type of structure builds character that does not collapse under pressure. To live this way, you must decide your expectations in advance. Write your rules. Live by them whether others understand or not. Define how you act in fatigue. Define how you move in stress. Decide how you speak when challenged. These details build precision. They separate the prepared from the reactive. Most people wait to be led. They look for confirmation before they act. The Stoic does not wait for external permission. He carries his law internally. He does not speak of it unless asked. He refines it in silence. He does not sell his values. He applies them. Your invisible standards must be reviewed. You must audit your behavior against what you claim to believe. Use the end of each day to reflect. Ask yourself if your actions matched your values. Record where you fell short. Identify the pattern. Correct the drift quietly. Realign. Repeat. These invisible standards become your anchor. They keep you consistent. They reduce hesitation. They remove doubt. In crisis, you rely on them. In success, you stay grounded by them. They train you to act from principle rather than impulse. This discipline becomes rare. In a world where people change their tone to match the crowd, those with inner codes stand apart. Their presence feels different. Their actions stay clear. Their purpose is strong. You feel the difference even if you cannot name it. The Stoic earns this posture. He does not inherit it. He builds it through honest review, private commitment, and sustained practice. His strength is built where no one claps. His direction is set when the world is distracted. His law is his own. And in that silence, he becomes unshakable. Chapter 10. Mastery without display. The Stoic seeks mastery without display. He does not attach progress to attention. He does not measure strength through reaction. His aim is precision. His effort is directed at internal improvement, not external recognition. This creates a type of power that is calm, stable, and unshakable. To pursue mastery, you must first define what excellence looks like without applause. Identify the skills, behaviors, and principles that align with your role. Then apply pressure through repetition. The process may remain unseen, but the results will form the structure of your identity. Display weakens focus. It brings the need to perform into the process of building. It invites opinion before the foundation is complete. The Stoic avoids this. He isolates his improvement from audience. He does not explain what he is building. He builds. Mastery requires solitude. You must observe yourself without external input. You must test your methods without needing encouragement. You must fail without announcement and correct without delay. Each act of silence strengthens your ability to endure discomfort without complaint. This forges discipline. There will be moments when no one acknowledges the work. You will show up, give full effort, and receive no response. The result will be invisible to others. The hours you invested will go unnoticed. This is expected. The Stoic prepares for this condition. He expects silence. He expects solitude. He expects that many of his most important actions will pass without comment. He ties his reward to action. He takes satisfaction in doing what needs to be done. He finds value in the task itself. He separates effort from recognition. This makes him self-governing. He does not look to others to validate his energy. He does not need applause to continue. The action completes the cycle. The act of following through is enough. He builds the skill because it should be built. He does not wait until the skill is visible to start refining it. He does not stop because it lacks attention. He views improvement as a duty. He knows that unseen growth still strengthens his character. Each repetition makes him more capable. Each correction brings him closer to mastery. He strengthens the character because it must be strong. He does not adjust his effort based on how visible the process is. He does not downgrade his goals based on how others respond. He prepares for difficulty by working in silence. He accepts that many forms of strength are invisible. He builds those anyway. He endures the quiet because it is part of the process. The silence that surrounds deep work is not emptiness. It is space. It allows clarity. It allows deeper commitment. It prevents distraction. It gives him the conditions required for focus. He does not resist it. He learns to move within it. He lets the quiet sharpen his decisions. This mindset makes him durable. He does not break when things go unnoticed. He does not collapse when outcomes shift. He does not need to be reassured. His discipline gives him resilience. His structure holds when nothing external supports him. It protects him from emotional extremes. He does not chase praise. He does not fall into despair when praise is absent. His path does not depend on audience. He moves with the same posture regardless of attention. This gives him stability. This protects his integrity. Praise does not alter his behavior. If others admire the result, he remains the same. He does not increase effort for attention. He does not change direction to match the spotlight. He stays with his method. He respects the process more than the reaction. Criticism does not break his rhythm. He hears what is useful. He adjusts what needs improvement. But he does not let opinion shape his core. His rhythm is already built. His pace is already measured. He continues forward without collapse. He remains on the path regardless of public reaction. This is mental independence. This is emotional control. This is a person who knows what he is doing and why. This is how a person becomes reliable. Others begin to trust him. They sense that he will not waver. They know that he will not abandon the standard to protect his pride. He is centered. You build this by practicing alone. You must separate your action from performance. You must do the hard thing when no one is checking. You must meet your own standard without reminder. You must be honest about where you fall short. You must correct it without announcement. Set your standard clearly. Write it down. Keep it close. Let it shape your daily structure. Let it determine what is allowed and what is not. This removes guesswork. This replaces confusion with clarity. Train your habits. Repeat what works. Remove what weakens you. Focus on the small behaviors that create strong results. Use each day to test yourself. Stay aware of what you're building. Let your repetition build trust in your direction. Evaluate your days. Track what moved you forward. Note what caused drift. See what held and see what broke. Use this review to improve, not to justify. Adjust without excuse. Refine your process without waiting. Improve in silence. You do not need to announce every change. You do not need to explain your structure. You keep it quiet so that it cannot be disrupted. You hold it steady so it becomes stronger than impulse. Let your life reflect the quality of your structure. Let your results prove your preparation. Let your presence speak to the time you've invested. You do not need to be introduced. People will feel your clarity before they hear your name. Let others draw conclusions without your influence. Let them observe the difference in how you move. Let them feel the steadiness in how you speak. Let them notice how you stay grounded while others shift. That contrast will speak without a word. Let the results speak clearly. Let them form your reputation. Let them become your history. Let your actions make the argument that your words never had to. Mastery without display is the highest form of confidence. It is quiet, but absolute. It comes from knowing what you have earned. It comes from knowing what you have endured. It comes from staying the course when no one was watching. It comes from holding to the work without asking for reward. It shows that you know who you are. It proves that your direction is internal. It confirms that your judgment is stable. It gives you power without noise. It gives you presence without explanation. It creates a life of structure, a life of clean decisions, a life of quiet impact, a life that does not chase noise to feel worthy. This is the final aim of the Stoic, to act in full alignment with principle, to pursue excellence without asking for attention, and to let silence carry the full weight of strength.